next door to you, not necessarily within your discipline, by showing initiative, by showing a thirst for skills, which is essentially the kind of lifestyle that you need and you require to sustain the green jobs that is being envisaged. During the debate session, and all of the debaters, they really spoke very, very well. I heard when the young ladies and gentlemen were saying it is not sustainable. In Nigeria, there are so many things that has to happen. And that is principally true. However, I'm going to leave something with you, that when you see something is not possible, know that there's an opportunity there for you to be able to tap in and do more. And I believe that at the end of the day, when Lagos State, for instance, decides that they are going to be doing the tree planting, have you taken an interest? Or do you just read it in the newspapers and then just allow it to pass? The Lagos State government have brought in special species of flowers, including hibiscus, that you can take and approach your neighbor, even if you don't have land, and say, I can plant this for you, and it's so very easy to do. Step out of your comfort zone, acquire knowledge, acquire skills in projects management, acquire skills in basic accounting and how to be able to record books, acquire knowledge in how to write simple feasibility in such a way that you'll be able to convince somebody to part with his or her money, not to talk of institutions, to support your entrepreneurial drive. With that, I'm sure I've done more than 10 minutes. I would like to take my leave now, but what I'm leaving with you is that it's not beyond you. Your sustainable lifestyle or your shadow unemployment, as the case might be, will be such that you do things safe every time, all the time. You step back, think through a lot of the things that you want to do to see that they are safe, and plant greens all around you. Thank you.
Can we give Mr. Akinfatuke a resounding round of applause? Thank you so much. Basically, he's talked about the interconnectivity of lives. You never know who is watching you, and we need to begin to position ourselves to be useful, not just to ourselves, but to our families, our community, as the green revolution unfolds. A round of applause to Mr. Akinfatuke. Our next speaker is Mr. Sukomi Olowo, who is representing Mr. Shegun Adaju of Consistent Energy. Can we give him a resounding welcome by clapping for him? Thank you very much, Mr. Olowo.
I think there's this. Okay, let's. Thank you very much, everyone. I will be speaking on carbon footprint, energy, and resource efficiency. Carbon footprint, energy, and resource efficiency. I have a little PowerPoint presentation. Let's hope you can get it right. Now, but the bulk of what I will be saying towards the end is more about practical. How can we, as individuals, benefit from the green economy. And when we talk about carbon footprint, what are the things that we do individually or as an organization that contribute to either depleting the energy in the environment or making the energy in the environment, creating an imbalance in the environment that we have? Now, when we talk of green economy, this is talking about a situation whereby your activity, my activity, when we look at it from the point of view of the environment, does your activity contribute negatively to impacting the environment, or does it help in reducing the impact of those negative things on the environment? Now, there are resources, there are technology, there are jobs, there are things that we do on a day-to-day basis that have effect on our planet. And I'll give you an example. You can decide to cook your food. And in cooking your food, you can decide to use a wood to cook. You can use charcoal. But all you are trying to do is to cook your food. But the food you are cooking, yes, you are satisfying yourself, but are you depleting the natural resources of the environment? You can decide to use gas to cook your food. You can decide to use biofuel to cook your food. Your food will still get cooked, but your activity, how is it contributing to the environment? There are some jobs that you can do that can help in increasing what you are contributing in terms of carbon footprint. Now, there are sectors in the economy that naturally people look at and say, these are green sectors in the economy. For instance, somebody who is a farmer. And you know, the way God created the world is that there is a balance. There is a balance in what you call the ecosystem. There is a balance between plant and animal. There is a balance between land and water. There is a balance in the temperature that you have in the environment. But you know, human activity over time has led to a situation whereby deliberately or indeliberately we decide to do things that affect this environment. Let me give you an example. In Lagos here, if you check everyone who is driving to work on a daily basis, you see people going to the island. When you check the car they are driving, most likely you have, in some you have one person, two person in the car. But do you know that we have a BRT bus? A BRT can take 45 people sitting and maybe another 30 or something standing. The same, and those buses are energy efficient. So what they release to the environment is less compared to when you take 40 or 20 people who put their cars on the road and they are driving. What is happening? As the car is revving, you are releasing carbon dioxide. And if your car is the one that brings out smoke that you can see, most likely is bringing out carbon monoxide. And those gases that is coming out is what we call the greenhouse gases. Now, in the environment, there are naturally occurring gases that when you distort the balance, there is what is coming from the sun, what is called the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Now, when you distort it, the effect is that there is increase in temperature in the environment. And when the temperature increases in the environment, you find out that there is a body of mass of water that melts, and then you have flooding, you have the rest of them. So my slide is up now, so we can move. You have flooding and you have the rest of them coming in. So there's what you call the carbon footprint, and every individual has a carbon footprint. When you travel, there is a carbon footprint. When you go by road, there is a carbon footprint. What has happened is that the United Nations has set a limit based on those countries that generate so much carbon. And those who are able to act things that reduces carbon emission, they are able to monetize this, and we have what we call carbon exchange. Under the carbon exchange, for instance, if you go and you start using biofuel to cook your food, we can actually calculate how much carbon you are saving by using biofuel. If you have a farm and you plant trees in those farms, we can calculate how many tons of CO2 your trees are generating. And you know, the balance in the ecosystem, you have animal gives out carbon dioxide and plant give out oxygen. So you have this balance. And that's why for some of us, if you are not from Lagos, you discover if you go to your villages, the environment there is better than that of Lagos, is cooler, is calmer, is cleaner. Why? Because all the parks in Lagos before now, a whole lot of them had been removed. And when you have a mass of people like that, it has effect on the environment. Now, energy resources and energy efficiency. There are appliances that you can use. They can actually reduce the consumption of energy. And for energy efficiency, is defined as where you can reduce the consumption of energy by 40%, then it qualifies as an energy efficient appliance. Appliances that were done 2001, below 2001, they consume a lot of energy. Now, in consuming energy, what they do for you is they increase the amount of money you pay for energy. They increase the resource that is drawn on energy. But guess what? In your house, you can put what you call LED bulbs. They are as bright, if not brighter. They consume less energy. Instead of you using incandescent bulbs, which radiates a lot of heat, and they consume a whole lot of energy. So a whole lot of attitude change like this can help in creating a sustainable environment. Now, what is your role? First, let's identify the sources of renewable energy that we have. You have the solar energy, which is the sun. You have the thermal, which is the heat. You have the wind. You have the tides. You have the rain, water. There are all sources of energy. And when we say something is renewable energy, it simply means that this energy, they are natural in their occurrence, and you can replace them. In Nigeria, our source of revenue is from oil and gas. Oil and gas is a wasting asset. It's a depleting asset. It's an asset that pollutes the environment. For us to know how oil and gas forms, well, maybe many of us are not students of science, but you need to have the plants of today decomposed, buried, and then change in composition to be able to give you your fuel that you have. Now, a time is coming when those fuel will be exhausted. But we can switch. You can switch and generate your energy by using the sun. I used to work in a bank, and while I was in the bank, I set up a renewable energy desk in that bank. And since 2014, my house has been running on solar. And that's what we do in consistent energy. Right now, some of the barbers we are changing their, I better pass my neighbor, and we are giving them solar installation. And with that solar installation, they don't need to worry about buying fuel. They don't need to worry about whether there is strike or no strike. Because guess what? Every day of the year, is there any day that the sun does not rise in Nigeria? Is there any day that the sun does not rise in Nigeria? The sun shines all the time in Nigeria. This sun that is shining, you can convert it into energy. Now, but what do we need to do for you and I? First, we need an attitude change. For instance, some organization now, they will tell you if you don't need to print that paper, that article, please don't print it. Because when you are printing, do you know what is happening? The paper you are printing, you must have fell a tree in order to generate the paper. The reed that forms paper, you need to fall a tree to do that. So if you don't print, you are conserving that sector of the ecosystem. If you don't need an energy, if you're in your room, you're not in the room, why do you need to put on the AC? Why do you need to put on the light? Switch off the light. So these are attitude changes that you and I can imbibe. We also need to get skill. What do I mean by skill? In consistent energy, we have some young people who have been trained. They have been trained, now they can install solar on your roof. They can do a whole lot of things. Days are gone whereby you want to and then you are looking for a job. Be entrepreneurial. There are a lot of things you can do with renewable energy skills. You can become somebody who is selling energy. You can become somebody. I was so glad when one of the debaters said that in their hostel, that they construct an inverter, and that once there is no power, the inverter kicks off. Now that inverter can take power from the public utility, or it can take power from the sun. And bet me, the energy from the sun is free. And I can tell you from my own example, when I install my solar system, within 15 months, I recover my cost. And what I'm using is free. So every one of us here, we can do the same thing. On your little level, there are things we can do to sustain the environment. We are here today. This world has been existing thousands of years ago. If we are depleting the ozone layer before God decides. For us, I'll be open to questions. There are things we need to do, attitudinal changes, learn a new skill, be entrepreneurial. Based on the work they are doing, they are getting dollars because they are helping in reducing carbon emission to the environment. I'm open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we give Mr. Olowo a round of applause and say a big thank you to him for sharing about the ecosystem and how to take advantage of the solar system and plug into unconventional sources of energy. How many students or participants in the hall have caught a vision today? If you have caught a vision, a new vision today, can you raise your hand? Wow. I'm a bit shocked because there was quite a bit of noise going on in the hall when the three speakers were making their presentation. brought in here. Thank you very much. So, and we hope that through the questions and answers, you will be better entrepreneurs and not job seekers. Thank you very much. So can we have people raise their hands if they have any questions, so that we share knowledge in a way every single person in this hall. Once again, can we give the panelists a resounding round of applause?
Or a training where they talked about carbon mock and Nigerian position. It was on climate change course, and I really want to know the situation of Nigeria right now, because then, that was 2014, we were told that those who, the government will always insist that the money will go through them when it comes to paying for carbon. We were to reserve our forests so that we can gain money. But they gave the contract to certain people, and it didn't work. And there was advocacy that it should become individuals or NGOs running such carbon money. Some people have made some efforts about giving the villagers renewable stoves and all that. But the issue of the nation as a whole having to reserve our forests, there was something about Calabar and other states. Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, panelists sitting in front. My name is Sarah, and I want to thank the organizers and everyone that put this program together. My first question is it's not a secret that in Africa the girl child is being relegated, and I'm sure there are a lot of young girls here that grew up, being relegated and not being counted just because of their gender. It's quite an issue. I grew up in a setting like that, but out of sheer determination and a lot of things, people that help, I am here today. And thank God that my father in particular got exposed, started working with quite, other women, and one or two things, we saw that transformation. My question is this, ma. What's your message of hope to a lot of teenagers sitting here? Some of them are here, some of them have friends. And they are going through this, and they are going through, they are feeling relegated, they are feeling at the back because of their gender. What message do you have for them at the family level? Because this challenge starts at the family level. We start feeling relegated, we start feeling low because of our gender. And this happens with more low income families that, they have low income. What's your message of hope, ma, for people like that? Thank you.
A third question, please. So we have one question on renewables, one on gender, and a third question before we go to the back.
panelists, my leaders, and my fellow students. Good afternoon. Now, having considered the debaters and the affirmation from our panelists that Nigeria is not really ready for the gold green. But with the young ones, haven't gotten your information and your motivation for us to be involved, for us to get the morale to go green. My question is, considering how Nigeria is, how can the young ones tap from this opportunity? Because they say where there's difficulties, there are a lot of opportunities from it. As we are young entrepreneurs, how can we tap from this for us to be a better person in the future? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have a question for each of the panelists.
All right. Thank you very much. The first question on carbon credit and assessing the carbon money. Yes, Nigeria as a whole. Okay, let me start here. For you to get compensated on your carbon credit, there are certain processes that it needs to go through. For instance, we did a wonderful project with Lagos State Government, which is the Lagos BRT scheme. The Lagos BRT scheme ordinarily should qualify for a carbon credit. But the Lagos BRT scheme will not get a carbon credit. And the reason is this. If you want to get a carbon credit for your project, it is from the conception of the project, from the initiation of the project, that you need to register the project. It is not after the project is live and running that you now say, I want to go and register it for carbon credit. That is the main reason why a lot of our projects are not getting compensated. However, there is a privately run carbon exchange, carbon credit exchange, that is processing that thing for individuals who are interested. But of course, with Nigeria, until we get to that level where we have a holistic implementation of projects, and we do environmental impact assessment, a whole lot of those things could come out from the environmental impact assessment for a whole lot of the projects that we are doing, but we do not register the projects. So if we begin to develop a department where for every project that qualifies for carbon credit, if we register them before implementation, then we will get carbon credit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olowo. My people perish for lack of knowledge. I think one of the major problems we have in Nigeria is that we're intellectually lazy. I'm telling you, I need to remind us here that the amount of energy that was being dissipated when the music was going on and you are all dancing is not the same level of energy I'm seeing right now. So please, can we try and channel our intellectual energy to this discussion? Because carbon credit is in the millions of dollars. Carbon credit is in the millions of dollars, and Nigeria could do with foreign direct investment if students in Yabatech are able to understand the processes and systems that enable project promoters apply for carbon credits at the conceptual stage of energy-related projects. So if you want to make millions of dollars from carbon credits, watch this space, keep quiet, and pay attention. I'll pass the microphone to the next person, Dr. Franca, to address the issue of gender in green governance.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. The question she raised about the message to the family. If you recall that the Sustainable Development Goal number 5 talks about gender equality. Unfortunately, each time gender equality is mentioned, there's always a misconception. People normally think that the women are now asking to begin to stand side by side with men. When gender equality is mentioned, what women are actually asking for is inclusion. Give us the space so that we too can develop and then become stakeholders in governance or in management. Now, for the family to participate in this, is from the family to realize that the girl child is also a human person. And therefore, the girl child should be given the same opportunity that the boy child is given, either through education or vocational training. I'm happy that Dr. Lola talked about our intellectual, I wouldn't put it to, I would say intellectual docility. We are very docile when it comes to intellectual issues. The issue that is being discussed today is something that even you as students of Yabatech can participate and partake in and become independent financially. When you go abroad now, you see a number of small businesses which they can run. And this is something you can start here. For the women who are here, there's so much you can do. Most times people think that the only thing women can participate in is in fashion designing, doing fashion designing or catering. Do you know that flowers, when you go to Kenya, if you see the quantity of flowers that Kenya is exporting to Europe and America, you will be amazed. And that is something that students can even begin to do as students here. You can something as ordinary as iru. You know iru that people use in cooking. These are all things, organic ingredients that people can also create and find ways of turning them into wealth. But you see, when they were doing the presentations, all you were thinking about was something about engineering and technology. Those little things that our grandmothers were doing, we can apply technology to them, and over time you see that you can become multi-millionaires by doing those things. So gender is fundamental when we are talking about green governance, because there are so much a woman can do. Today, what I advise women to do is that read courses and then try to unleash your creativity, so that even when you are at home as a mother or as a wife, you can run your business and then you can make your own money. Thank you.
Thank God we are paying attention. I'm going to pass the microphone to Mr. Akifatuke to talk about sustainability and opportunities.
Sustainability opportunities are just written out there as you step out of the door if you pay attention. And I'm happy that Lola knocked it down so hard that intellectual laziness will not stand you in any position for you to be able to go. And if I heard her correctly, not necessarily in Yabatech, not necessarily here, but I think it's a disjoint that we have in our larger society. What seems to want to attract young people or most people are the bam, 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 bam kind of thing. But the sustainable lifestyle that you are being asked to think about here, even if, and this is what I always tell young people, even if you think it's not going to be useful to you as a person, If you are a girl or if you are a woman, know you are going to get married. If you are a man, you know you are going to also get married. It could just be that your partner will have an interest. But once you pick that knowledge from here, it's internalized. That's number one. Number two, I gave you a statistics that the unemployment rate, and I am not a prophet of doom, I am only a realist, that about 10 sets beyond girls who are graduated are roaming the wild, are roaming the streets, are not getting a job. This is a waiting opportunity for you to tap into it and get it. In my presentation, I did not go to the skyscraper. I did not go to the university level. I was merely talking at the primary school level. Your colleagues or your peers outside Nigeria in more developed countries are going into doing farming on skyscrapers, feeding a whole community on skyscrapers. You could even start from where you live. Get home, daddy, mommy, this is what I have learned. Can I get some encouragement? And when people like Lola come here, she's so highly networked. I can tell you that. Yours sincerely, my dear brother, and my teacher at UNEVOC, they are all so highly networked such that you can ask. I think somebody was asking out there, how can I key into it? If you have a good vision, if you have a good business plan, and you can write English in a way that people will look at, if you bring it to say somebody like him or somebody like me, who told you that that will not be your stepping stone? Who told you that that will not go to be the door that will be unlocked for your potentials? So please leave it, act it, get more interested. Sessions like this of few hours is just a tip of the iceberg. Google. You could even approach companies, and if they turn you back for the first time or turn you back for the second time, be resilient and say, I have what it takes. Many of those call it stars that you see singing, they were all rejected at one time or the other, but they persisted and they said to themselves, I know I can make it. I know I have what can make the difference. So, like Madam Lola has said, intellectual laziness is not going to help you. I am afraid the jobs are not out there for you to grab. Your daddy, your boyfriend, or your girlfriend's connection is going to get you a job. That job lies within you with what you are being told here, and go out and conquer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our time is fast spent, so we need to close this panel and move to the next thing on the agenda. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. God bless you.
Please, a round of applause to our panelists. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh baby, please, 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 please. Why you do me like this, this?
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the official flag off of 5 flexible skill courses by our flexible skills department director, Dr. Ibrahim Adidotu Abdul. May I invite Dr. Abdul to come over to the podium to make his presentation. Thank you.
All protocols duly observed. Great Yabatech students, Is it possible for me to bring out the energy you displayed while singing now? Great Yabatech students. You've had it, and then we have the solution for you right here now. Green skills, green jobs, green money, green prospect, and green future. Yaba College of Technology have done a lot to prepare for you opportunities to have green skills that can lead to what we are talking about. Lecturers in this institution have carefully crafted some courses that you can take that can help you with the right skills and lead you to what we are talking about. Right now, somebody just talked about importation of flowers. Somebody talked about vegetables. I want to invite to the podium here the head of Department of Agri-Tech. Can you please come around? A round of applause for him, just for a few minutes. I want to invite the head of Department of Urban and Regional Planning Department, Honorable Sake. Have a seat. I want to invite is the head of the Department of Mass Communication around here. Mass Communication. Now, this department in Yabatech have been working for 2 years in collaboration with Commonwealth of Learning to develop green skills that can benefit you and can lead you to the future. Now they have come up with flexible short courses. If I turn my back here, what do you see? Can you read my back? Can you read it? What is he saying? You have short courses that can give you those skills. One of those courses is what we call landscaping and gardening. Landscaping and gardening course. A short course in landscaping and gardening will teach you all you want to know about flowers and landscaping. You have a 6 to 12 week course that you can take that Yabatech is offering, and from there you become an expert, you become an entrepreneur, and so on and so forth. I want the HOD URP to just give us 2 minutes introduction about this course. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our esteemed guests, you're welcome. Now, landscaping and garden design, is simply an ability for a prospective student like you and craftsmen alike to learn the process how we do gardening